witness one here. So, let me tell you guys. This nation is more wicked than you could ever imagine. Everything's being revealed and coming out. The Epstein files and all that stuff. You know. Some of you are wondering why your prayers aren't getting answered and God isn't helping you or whatnot. God ain't even helping too many people. Let me tell you. I've been praying for some help. I ain't got it in years and years and years. Imagine them little children that they're murdering and drinking their blood and adrenochrome and sacrificing, raping them little girls and boys and all that. That shit's everywhere. You know, Trump built them places to put house all them all ICE and all those immigrants and children, and now a bunch of children and immigrants are missing, and they're talking about they had crematoriums in them. They're just using them people to sacrifice too. I mean, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. You know, it's like this Salvation Army thing over here. They have a daycare in there, right? I mean, the place is 132,000 square feet. It's got an amphitheater in there, a church, a water park, inside water park with a lazy river. It's got everything, rock wall, a two-story worth of workout stuff. And it ain't that. That's all just a cover for Joan Kroc and her husband. They were billionaires, right? He's the one that made all the money off of McDonald's and died back in the 80s. And that McDonald's arches sign that you see, it's all occult and symbolic. Masonic, think about it. And it goes back to them Masons and all that. And he was a Mason. He was a Mason. Joan Kroc was a philanthropist. It's like the Statue of Liberty. If you do the research on that, you'll see that's the Queen of Heaven. Diana, Mary, she's better known as Mary in the Catholic Church now. The guy who built her over in France was a well-known Mason and philanthropist like Joan Kroc. She gave him $1.5 billion to start those Kroc centers all over the United States off of that McDonald's money. If you do the research, you can find out all about it. She was a Eastern Star, and he was a Mason, Master Mason. And they're using that money over there to traffic them children. I promise you that daycare is elaborate, and everything revolves around them children over there. That's what they're trafficking them children out of that place over there. And the place is wicked. Let me tell you, I just seen a guy walk in with 4 kids, and he had his shorts on, and he had pentagrams all over, tattooed all over his legs, and the place is filled with them. The place is filled with witches and warlocks and breeders. You go in there. I was videotaping, but they caught me the other day and got all mad at me because I was videotaping what was going on around there with the Masonic stuff, and they were stalking me in there big time. They are scared to death of me in there. And they know that I know what's going on in there. Yeah, and they just got rid. The one guy that ran the place, I forgot what his name was. He retired and went to Kansas. And I'm like, in Kansas? I was asking him, I was like, why did he go to Kansas? Well, he had property there for years and years. Him and his wife, they retired from there. And another guy and his wife came in there to be the pastors of the place and run the Kroc Center. The new guy's a 5th generation Salvation Army guy. And they're all reptilians, let me tell you. They are higher ups in somebody's, or at least got that DNA in them. And the one guy retired and went to live in Kansas. I was like, why in the hell would you? I said, you ever been to Kansas? He's like, no. I was like, that's the ugliest place in the world. But Kansas, if you look it up, is well known for its witches. One thing about Kansas, you're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. It was well known. Look it up, do the research, and you'll see that Kansas is known for its witchcraft. And that's where he went and retired. And that's what they're doing over there at them Salvation Armies. And they're a cult anyway and always have been. And that's what's happening with those places. And they're filled with witches and warlocks and wizards and witch doctors. And they're after those kids. They're looking for single moms. So they can traumatize them kids. Have them satanic ritually abuse them. And do whatever they're going to do with them. Believe me, I promise you. And there's a lot of churches involved in this area with them. They got a list in there of all the churches that are involved in them and they're doing their ministry outreach. And anybody with any sense, if you got your kids involved in a church, you need to get them out of there. Because your kids ain't safe in any of those places. I had my little cousins going to the Awanas there where I'm from in Montana. And they weren't safe, and I tried to tell his mama, and they threw a freaking fit at me when I told them what I thought was happening there, and they rejected what I said and tossed me on down the road. I was already homeless anyways. They was thinking I was crazy. They were trying to help promote getting me put in some kind of mental place, but it never worked. But I am homeless. And the military had everything to do with that. When I went in there yesterday, I went in there just to check it out. Within 5 minutes, there was 20 people with laptops. And I went walking past looking at what they was looking at, and they were all military, psychologists, all this different stuff. Masons, witches, warlocks, they're all working in unison together. And them cops are well known for getting psychics. If you look at it, cops love to use psychics to help solve unsolved homicides and problems, unsolved crimes. They like to use psychics. And so they've been doing that for years. And the fact of the matter is this has all been just hush, hush, and covered. And now it's coming revealed between God's children. It's finding all this stuff out. And that's what's happening. And, if you want to know some more of what's happening, look up the Tyler Woods encounter. He's a preacher. He's not talking about gang stalking, but he's figuring stuff out. And look up Welcome to the Awakening. But stay away from gang stalking by the numbers. Stay away from gang stalking simulation. Stay away from King Justice. There's a lot of people who are trying to take your money and manipulate everybody. It's like King Justice, that's all he ever does is manipulate, thinking everybody's going to take care of his ass, and they have been for years now, 5-6 years. All them people been taking care of him, but it's coming to an end because things are happening with him. It's like he got married for a second time, had a wife, she had a kid, but he's running around living and hiding in the truck and living in off of everybody online. That's a second marriage, failed, and he was talking about getting a divorce and everything. And of course he's gonna get a divorce. He abandoned his wife with a baby that he ain't taking care of. Get what I'm saying? And the guy's just, I think he's a gang stalker, And he's definitely manipulating everybody, because every time he gets online, he's like cold, hungry, homeless, and everybody's paying for his housing and shit. And then on top of it, he's begging for money for go buy that expensive food and vitamins and stuff. Dogs that he's going to take back, He goes buys an $800 dog, takes it back, calls it an op. A chipped dog. You know what I'm saying? The guy just is a fucking idiot. So, I don't know. Guys, be careful out there, because there's all kind of wicked, weird shit, and everybody's running a fucking angle. Gang stalking by the numbers. He'll run an angle on you all day fucking long, trying to get you to give him something, and talk behind your back when you fucking worried about him. And gang stalking simulation, he's crazy. He's just plain crazy, Look at all these gang stalkers everywhere. And, they're just driving by me and everything else. And that's what's happening, That's, the funny place about this place was where a very famous pastor who passed away a few years ago, his name's Chuck Missler. Huge pastor in the 80s and 90s. Look him up, Chuck Missler. I mean, he was preaching on things that are happening now back then. But the funny thing was he lived in this town for 20 years. Then he went to New Zealand to die pretty much the last few years of his life. He had a place in New Zealand. He got rich off of all this preaching. But he was one of them too. Yep, Chuck Missler. I listened to him. I used to listen to him. Not very much, but I want you to know that all these preachers that you're listening to, like Charles Stanley and all of them, Charles Stanley's a Mason. Chuck Missler was a Mason. Yep. There's a lot of fun. Even my mentor, God told me a few things about the guy that mentored me. And he's dead and gone and has been for a long time. And, you know, he had all these traits and stuff, and he was friends with the wrong people. I kept noticing it, and I just looked past it because I was trying to learn. But, you know, you can learn a lot about the Lord from these people, but it's like eating a fish. Like I keep telling you guys, you got to chew up the truth and spit out the bones. Chew real good and reject the rest. Reject the bones that's going to cause you to choke. And I learned from these guys, you know, a lot of stuff about the Lord. But, you know, see, they imitate the Lord. You get involved in a church and you go there and you be doing what they want, then the doors open up for you because they're all Masons and have access to all these things, housing, food. It's like this girl I knew that I met last summer. She wanted me to come over for a cookout, but she was manager of a Dollar Tree store, and she had housing, all these things, but she said it was from God, and I was like, I said, no, that wasn't from God, that was from people from the church. She's like, well, it was from God. I was like, no, it was. Those were doors opened up because you were bringing your kids and all that, going to church. And, well, I couldn't get my husband. I got the kids to go, and he was warming up to the idea. So see what I mean? She was doing everything they wanted her to do. So they had pulls to get her a job at the Dollar Tree as a manager, which the other people in there said she sucked as a manager. And they got her housing, real cheap housing to live in with the kids and everything, because they was living in their car before. And so they're imitating God because they have all these connections to the church. They'll open doors for you, give you jobs, give you housing, give you all those things, and you'll think it's the Lord. They'll give you cars even, and you'll think it's the Lord, but it ain't. It's these cults, because they have access to so many different things and so many people and so many connections that they imitate the blessings of the Lord, you know, and that's what's happening there. And, you know, I've had a lot of weird things happen in my journey. So if you guys are going through strange warfare, man, let me tell you, there ain't nothing gonna shock me. If you think it is what it is, you know, you're probably right. It's like that movie The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the invisible armor, the invisibility armor. I had that shit happen to me. Yep, I had that shit happen to me in western Montana when I was up there in the mountains one night looking for these guys that stole a bunch of stuff, and I knew they were stashing all the people's stuff they were stealing up in little hordes up in the mountains, way up in them dirt roads, right? Way the hell up there. And I was up in the mountains, up Lolo Creek, up behind Lolo Hot Springs, looking for these guys' stashes where they were stealing everybody's shit, and that's why the cops couldn't find nothing. But little did I know the cops were involved with it, you know? And that's why they were stashing that shit up there, and they'd stash it in big piles up there and hide it with tarps and stuff like that. And I was up there looking for it, and I had this encounter. I got out of the car, and I was listening for cars and stuff like that, and I heard these people laughing, but I didn't see them, you know, and I kept hearing this noise like something was coming up the road, like a four-wheeler or something. And no cars ever come, and it kept getting closer and closer. I never seen nothing. It sounded like a car or a 18-wheeler hitting its Jake brakes. All this stuff for a long time, and then finally I was hiding in these bushes because it kept getting closer. I was thinking it was them, you know, them guys stashing their stuff up there. And I hear these footsteps coming up the road, but I see nobody. Yeah, and I heard these footsteps coming over the ridge where I had my truck parked down this dead end part of the road down there. You know, it's called Granite Creek that fell into Fish Creek. And it was 30 something miles of dirt road up there that you could cut across to get to the interstate. And I heard people walking up this road, and I did not see anyone. And I'm like, holy shit! And I'm behind these bushes, man. You know, and all of a sudden I jumped out there because I was like, what the hell, because I didn't see anything, and this really happened. And it's well known back in that Selway Wilderness. It's one of the largest wildernesses left in the United States, called the Selway Wilderness, Selway, and it stretches all the way from western Montana, and it takes up most of Idaho. That upper portion of Idaho, middle portion of Idaho, is all a giant wilderness. And so anyway, something kept walking up the road, and I was like, what in the hell? And then something was throwing rocks at me. Rocks were rolling past my feet, but there was nobody right in front of me. I could see because the moon was kind of out that night. I could see, and my eyes were adjusted because into the dark in the woods, and I was on the road, flat on the road, and they kept on. And then all of a sudden, I used to have a camper topper that had two side extending up doors. They were windows, and in the back, two on the side, so you could reach in from the side of the truck, from the bed of the truck on the side, and then one in the back where the tailgate is. And something kept slamming those doors that I had on that camper topper. I'm like, what in the hell? And then I heard what sounded like a four-wheeler start up, but I didn't see it, and it was down the road a ways. And it sounded just like a four-wheeler. And I'm like, what in the hell? I knew something very strange was happening. And it took off down the road, so I ran over and got in my truck. And I tried to follow the sound down the road, and it was quite the experience. But it really happened when I came out of the woods the next morning. I was telling my cousin's wife, she worked down at the Travelers Rest in Lolo, right before you get to Lolo. She's a manager down there. And I was like, I didn't want to tell her. I said, man, I had the weirdest thing happen to me last night up there. I was staying in the woods. She's like, what? And I told her that story. And she said, I believe you because everybody had this story about the military. They saw the military. They saw convoys of the military disappearing on those roads back there and going behind locked gates, and some very weird experiences up there. And she said she believed me in that. Those we know that from those movies, a lot of those movies are true. So, I've had some weird stuff happen along my journey that made me start thinking outside the box here, because I had to, because of the stuff that was happening. And I heard them laughing at me. I heard them laughing. I couldn't see them. They were there. They came. I heard them coming through the woods over there too. It was a whole squad of them, a team of them. I don't know if they're special forces or what, but they messed with me, and there was nothing I could do. I had a gun. I was armed, but there was nothing there to shoot at. They threw rocks at me. They slammed them doors on my camper topper. They messed with me all the way around, and they were completely cloaked and invisible. So I don't care what anybody says. That was a true story. So if you had some strange stuff happen to you, I believe you, because I've had some strange stuff happen to me too. And I mean, it's getting, these people are so secure of the things that they've been doing for so long, these evil people. It's like in the Salvation Army over here, they got these hunchbacks in there. And I know they got witches and warlocks that go to the church there and everything, and they're there all the time. I seen a woman that was had an infant baby, but she was already 7 months pregnant. 6 months pregnant again. They have breeder women in there. You'll see women in there with 7, 8 kids. They'll bring them in there, drop them off. Get what I'm saying? And so that's what's happening, and it's everywhere, you guys. It's in every town. Gang stalking is human trafficking too. They don't want to expose it. And there's so few of them compared to about all the people. But there's so many people involved because it's money. And the reason why they don't want to get rid of us is because we make them money. Otherwise, they'd just kill us and get rid of us, you would think. But it isn't. The reason why they don't get rid of us, the reason why they don't arrest us or do the things that they do is because we are human trafficked. We are bloat the funding for the COINTELPRO, and they get, all of them get money every time they do this to us, and we show back up in the same area or whatever. And that's why they don't get rid of us, because we are the money. So you guys need to remember that. And you know, some of us are going through a hell of a time. You know, I don't hear too many people talking about them getting zapped for 10 or 12 hours a day or whatever. You know, the shit gets out of control. Where I was at on the East Coast, they had me where they wanted me. Or on the West Coast, I was on the West Coast over there. And you know, they really laid off of me. If they didn't want me in the area, they'd just gang stalk the shit out of me and zap me a little bit. And I hadn't had no relief from like that from them clowns for a long time, except when I was over there. Or they'd send the cops over there to you to chase you out of an area. And once they have you where they want you, they'll back off. But when you're where they don't want you at, they are relentless on you. So you guys need to keep that in mind, you know. And you can listen, you can pray to the Lord all you want. Even Jesus prayed, let this cup pass from me. And God the Father said, hell no, you got to finish this thing. And, you know, I've been praying for some relief from it myself for years and years and years. But, you know, God's not answering those prayers. Imagine those little kids. I bet they've been praying to God too, but they're still dead, adrenochrome, getting drunk, getting their blood drank, raped and killed. He's not answering. He's not saving them. So you got to remember that. And you know, this shit's been happening to me. I'm 53 now, and it's been happening to me now. I can look at it for a long freaking time. And, you know, there's just no help. There's just no help. And you guys need to realize that God ain't gonna show up and help you. He might provide you an escape, because if he's gonna help anybody, he's helped these little kids. So look up Welcome to the Awakening. You can trust him. No, I don't believe everything he says, but a lot of it I do. 90% of it I do. And look up the Tyler Wood encounter. And you know, I can't hardly trust him. He's got some Masonic stuff going on too, but it's in our roots. You know, it goes deep, deep, deep within our roots. America is Masonic. And oh yeah, check this one out. Look this one up. This is a good look up. Did you know that every president is related to each other besides one president? Even Obama. Yep, they all got a great-great-grandmother that came from somewhere over at the Church of England. Some little girl found it. Look it up. Is every president related to each other, and they all have one family relation with a great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. Besides one guy, one president that they couldn't link to it. But all the rest of them had that great-great-great-grandma. And so, I mean, if you don't think this thing is rigged and set up, and Trump and Obama and Biden and all of them ain't buddies and Masons, look up Biden. He joined the Masons. They're all Masons, dude. You know, and they're over there in Iran right now with Israel. And Israel, you can't trust Israel. That's not the Israel of the Bible, you guys. It ain't. There's always a remnant of God's people with Israel, but that ain't Israel, the Israel of the Bible. They like to claim it, but that ain't them. They're Zionists. And the head of the pyramids is the Jesuits and the Pope and the Vatican, and they work in conjunction with the Zionist billionaires from Israel. See, Israel runs the United States, and then they work in conjunction with all the Masons, and that's who runs the world. That's who the elite are. The Roman Catholic Church, that are hooked up with the Nephilim and the Illuminati and all of them, the 13 families, the billionaire Zionist Jews, and the Masons. And that's who runs the whole show, and there's only a handful of them. So hear that noise campaign? Well, I'm telling you the truth. But anyways, that's where we're at today with it. Keep the chins up. Bye.